One of the best big men in basketball just gave a near 60 piece. Joel Embiid, 59 points. How do we feel about it?
I mean, it's about time.
That's a
It's
little heavy
crazy.
to get started. About time is a little wild.
It's crazy. It's crazy as that may seem, but I feel like the Philadelphia Sixers need Joel Embiid to step up while James Harden is out because we know James Harden how he kind of started the season full throttle mode, and everybody's been kind of waiting for Joel Embiid to kind of like get back into that MVP form that he was last year. So it was nice to see. I'm very excited for Joel Embiid. Very excited for the city of Philadelphia.
Yeah, same. I mean, it is a regular season, so I mean, obviously, we know they got a lot more things to accomplish. But for now, 59-point near trip dub is actually pretty crazy, especially the position that he plays. Um,
Yeah,
and obviously,
he's
um,
a. You think he's the only? I made a post. I think he's the only big man that can do what he did last night.
well, the only
How
big
do you
man, yeah. I
how
mean,
do you
that's
feel about
not
that?
only big man, yeah. I mean, it's tough for any big man to score nearly 60. Nearly 60 is a lot of points. Like this isn't even like a 30 or even a 40-point tripped up. This is 60.
Yeah,
Being able to score 60, there's not a lot of players that can do that. And then when
yeah.
you combine the fact of notching off a near trip dub is actually pretty crazy. But yeah, I would completely agree.
Almost
More
a
so, more
almost
so,
a
yeah,
quadruple dog.
yeah. I would say more so the 60-point part though, not
Yeah,
the crazy other numbers, but the 60-point. There's probably like a handful of guys that can do that.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, only reason I asked that because like we always hear to talk about the bigs in the league and stuff like that. We hear about Giannis, we hear about Anthony Davis, we hear about Nikola Jokic. It seemed a lot of bigs had a phenomenal weekend this past weekend. Sabonis, Anthony Davis, that I just mentioned. But the reason why I asked that because the way Joel Embiid kind of got his points and his buckets, like we never seen a big man that can score. He's a three-level big that can play in the post, play the traditional way, but he also can get on the perimeter and get down at the second or third level on the basketball court. So he's a three-level big. Like he can play in the post, three-level at every level, but he also can like has a pureness to his game. Like he was hitting fadeaway shots, in between pull-ups. So that's heavy. Like that's tough. And he provides elite defense as well. So I don't think it's no big. Even Nikola Jokic, he can score at every level, but he's not giving you the defensive side of the ball. Giannis, he can be dominant, but he's not giving you the scoring at every level on the basketball court, even though he's going to give you the points and the elite defense, but he's not scoring at every level the way Joel Embiid can. Anthony Davis, he's done it before, but we haven't seen that version of Anthony Davis in a long, long time. So that's what I'm saying. Right now, it seems like Joel Embiid is probably the only big that's capable of having a performance like that when we look at every level on the basketball court, dominating the post, can hit fadeaways, can hit threes, and also give you elite defense. It was very impressive.
if there was one player that you had to choose that could actually score 70 in a game, who would it be? I can tell you straight up, mine would be Stephen Curry. The reason why I say that, obviously, threes would be needed.
Yeah.
Um, it's not just going to be you're not going to get 70 points by just scoring in the paint. So if I had
Yeah.
to choose one player, it'd be Steph.
It's crazy. I mean, it depends. Like James Harden is prime. We saw James Harden with a 60-point triple double performance. I mean, Clay Thompson, if he gets hot, we've seen Clay Thompson. So it's a lot. I feel like a lot of guys can get 70 if you let them go. So I think it's more so like the coaches and the team stopping them from getting 70. But on a lot of nights, a lot of guys I probably pick to get 70 really. But I'm not mad at the Steph Curry pick.
I mean, 70 is a lot though. This isn't like 50. Like 70 is
Yeah.
because I think 70. I want to say Steph because of the fact that I think he would be able to control his scoring more, if you will, right? Like there's some players that would be able to get it because of free throws. There's some
Yeah.
players that you mentioned, Klay Thompson, it would require a lot of catch and shoot. But at
Yeah.
some point, if you're gonna get 70, some of it is gonna have to be because if you had the ball in your hands and just went out and got, a
Yeah.
bucket. Obviously KD's name could be mentioned.
Yeah.
Um, Dame, maybe Trey, Luca. But even then, only reason why I might hesitate with those guys is because they still have some sort of responsibility to facilitate as well.
Yeah.
But either way, 70 is a lot of damn points. And
Yeah.
you know for a fact it's gonna have to be threes. Unless it's like a Shaq type player versus a bunch of
It's crazy. Maybe
stretch
it may
fours.
it's crazy because it could be Joe Embiid, low key. Well, we just talked about it. If because a lot of people talk about Joe Embiid and what he did was phenomenal last night, but a lot of like former players and former big men that played this game at a high level, they always talk about they want Joe Embiid to like dominate in the post. Like if you really think about it, like Joe Embiid, he's shooting fadeaways and stuff. It looks like for a visual and aesthetic standpoint, it's very appealing. Like I love to see it. I love to see a modern day big that can get busy in the post and also can stretch all the way to the three levels and hit crossovers and fadeaway shots. But like, what did Joe Embiid just say? You know what? I'm gonna be like Shaq, and literally just like dominate the first look because he's bigger than everybody and just dunk, get fouled because he's a great free throw shooter as well. So just imagine that if he just decided one, I'm not gonna worry about shooting twos. I'm not gonna worry about shooting threes. I'm just gonna get my ass in the paint. I'm just gonna attack and
That,
dunk and dunk and dunk.
that would be nice, but I think the closest thing and the only thing we'll probably see to that nature would be Giannis. Just
Yeah,
because nowadays everyone is a perimeter player. Apparently, everyone is finesse. Everyone wants to be on, the outside. And
well,
there's nothing wrong with it. At the end of the day, Joel Embiid did just put up nearly 60, so that's not a
yeah,
bad thing. But in terms of what you're talking about, just straight up like, yo, low block only. Low block, let's go to work. Yo, let's run a pick a pop. No, low block.
yeah,
Play after play after play after play.
yeah,
There's, especially too, because it's unfortunate that the only player in the league right now that could probably do that is probably Joel Embiid, unless there's someone that
yeah.
I am completely missing.
Probably Joe Embiid.
It's
Yeah,
Joel
so
Embiid.
it's Joe.
So,
It's Joe Embiid. I don't even think Giannis can do it because Giannis doesn't
right,
play.
especially
He's just
low block.
operating a post. Like Giannis is get the ball full steam ahead, get to the rim. So being in the low block, like it really could happen. Like that's the crazy thing about it. And I think that's what frustrates like former players. Like Shaq always talks about it, and just like probably Philadelphia fans as well, because it's like he should be like high 50s field goal percentages, like close to the 60s sometimes. But it's just like he got to show his back. I'm not mad at him, but it's just like
At all. I was about to say,
I'm not
at
mad
all.
at him at all. But like, especially when the playoff time comes, like that's the opportunity for him to really dominate at the first level of the basketball court and use his strength, use his body, get into, use his footwork because he has some of the best feet this league has ever seen. He's one of the most skilled big men this league has ever seen, if not the most skilled ever. So it's just like it'd be nice for him to operate in the post, especially when it matters the most in the playoffs.
The only reason why I don't have a problem with him not being so um, eager to be on a low block 24/7 is because he's actually good at, um, on the perimeter as well. Like,
Yeah,
he has a jumper. He's able to, at his size, still put the ball on the floor. But there's some guys, it's like, all right, man, I know
yeah,
you want to be versatile. I know you want to do more on the court. But damn it, just do what you do because
yeah,
the
yeah.
other shit just ain't working. So, fortunately for Joel, he can do other things on the court that ultimately result to him scoring.
It,
But
it's
there's a
also
list of players that don't have that bag.
yeah, it's also easier for me to say that looking at different eras. Like the Joel Embiid plays in an era where like he's gonna get tired because of the way the pace of the game is. Like the pace of the game back in the day was very, very slow. So it's much easier where the game was way more half court. Now only times we only see the game in the half court setting, basically in the playoffs. Like when things really slow down. But like imagine him like, all right, I gotta get in the pace. He'd be like, damn, sometimes I need to take this 15-footer. Sometimes I need to take this. I've been running up and down this court like, yo, I don't really feel like getting in the post and doing all that. So I understand it too. That plays a huge factor as well.
Yeah, but I think in order for them to win a championship, he can't be that guy that's trying to Euro. I don't think um, and that's for them to win. Like if we're zooming out and looking at the potential of them winning a championship, not just
Yeah.
him winning MVP or them getting a top 3 seed in the East, whatever. For them to win a chip, I think he has to be that guy that's like, all right, he is
Yeah.
legitimately unstoppable on the low block. We have to
Mhm.
send a double. We are now forcing him to kick it out to shooters and let the shooters hopefully, beat us. But I
Yeah.
don't think that
You feel like
style could win a championship.
he's on James Harden's time, where like we've seen so much of James Harden in the regular season and what he can do in the regular season. Now it's just kind of like only thing we want to see is the playoffs.
Yeah. I won't. So to answer your question, yes, but I won't take away from this specific moment just because
Hmm.
of a 60 piece is rare. Had he gone out and gave you, 32 and 14,
Yeah.
then I'm like, all right, good game, way to work. But 60, I don't care I don't care how many championships you have. I don't care how many times you may have quote unquote choked in the playoffs. 60, I know it's 59, but 59 is a lot of damn points, right?
Yeah.
That's not something to just randomly walk by. But generally speaking, yes, I do feel like at
Mhm.
some point it's okay. We acknowledge you are great. We acknowledge you're an MVP candidate. We
Yeah.
acknowledge that you are more than here. No one is ever going to be surprised at what you do anymore during the course of the season. What's next?
Yeah. 100
But
points over 2 games is still crazy though, but
nasty work.
it's really
Nasty
nasty
work.
work.
Especially
Very
as a big. Especially as a big.
very impressive, but like you said, I just want him to stay healthy. I think he's not going after the MVP this season. I think he kinda last year was supposed to be the year. Unfortunately, he didn't win, but I'm hoping he could just stay healthy and be right. And I'm hoping James Harden can get back and we can really see what this Philadelphia Sixers team can do because it's been a rocky start. It's been a rocky start for a lot of teams. Like you mentioned, you talk about Stephen Curry possibly scoring 70 points. The way I be looking at the Golden State Warriors and watching these games, like he may need to sometimes. Like it may be a situation right now with the Warriors, like it may be a game where it's close where he need to go out and score 70 because it's just like whatever's going on with the Golden State Warriors, it's not looking pretty. Their bench has been terrible. They have like a top 3, top 5 offense for their starting 5, but their bench has been horrible. Wiseman is 3 years. We're 3 years in. I know a lot of Golden State Warriors fans want to talk about upside and its size. You can't teach certain things, but let me tell you something. If they not gonna play defense, if he's unplayable, that passing up on LaMelo Ball, I hate to keep going back to it, it's gonna make you keep looking like, damn, like we in year 3 and this guy not even playable. So it's some issues going on in Golden State Warriors. And I know it's hard to repeat and stuff like that, but they're looking kind of nasty.
Cap or no cap, the Golden State Warriors will return to the finals this year.
Um, as of right now, I'm gonna say cap. As of right now, if they turn it around the next 10, 15 games, but as of right now, I'm gonna say cap. And the reason why I'm gonna say cap is because the title of this podcast should be do the Warriors have a perimeter player that can actually guard? Because Klay Thompson can't guard no more. Jordan Poole on the floor on the defensive side is horrible. You know what? Steph Curry is probably their best perimeter defender right now. I'm not talking about Wiggins because Wiggins is like a 3.
I was gonna say, what are we doing here? Do you not want to acknowledge
is like
Wiggins at all?
Wiggins is like a 3. I'm talking about like a really like your 1 and your 2s. I don't
So
feel
okay,
like
so I would make that question more specific. Who can guard other, I guess, backcourt players? Because to say that, who can guard perimeter players and then not mention Wiggins, or who can guard perimeter players and then just mention guards.
Do the Warriors? I mean, he's not Andrew Wiggins is not a guard. He's a small forward. So
Well, I'm
do they
just
have a
saying based off
guard?
your
Do they have a
question.
guard? Do they have a
There you
guard that
go.
can guard? Do they have
There
a
you
guard?
go.
Do the
There you
Warriors
go.
have a guard that can guard? That's okay. There we go. And right now we're looking at it. We look at Klay Thompson. We look at Jordan Poole. We look at Stephen Curry. Stephen Curry may be their best defender, and that's nasty work.
Shit. Well, you say it
That's
out
na-
loud like that, it
No,
kind of
that-
makes you.
That's
Yeah.
nasty work. And Stephen Curry has improved on his defending throughout his career. But right now, for the guard position, Stephen Curry is the best guard that can defend on the Golden State Warriors. That's nasty. That's nasty times. And I know Clay, what happened in the past with the injuries and stuff like that. Jordan Poole, he can't guard a moving chair. And if those guys aren't offensively, not a moving chair, he can't guard a stationary chair. If those if those guards aren't providing what you need offensively, it's like damn, like
Well, I
If
mean,
you-
at least though in their defense, they can put up buckets. At least in their defense,
Yeah.
they can score the basketball. And I mean, it all comes down to matchups. I think, obviously, historically speaking, the West has been loaded with, you know, great point guards. But if you think about the matchups that they'll have to deal with come playoff time, off rip, you think about the Clippers. Um, they may need more wing defenders as opposed to guard defenders. If you think about the Suns, they may need more a player that can stop Book as opposed to their one.
Yeah.
If you think about the Nuggets, even if obviously Jokic, when you mentioned Jamal, even if you want to slide Andrew Wiggins on Jamal, I think that's somewhat okay. Now maybe Ja down there in Memphis might have some things that he going say about it, but
It's
I
nasty.
think when you, of course, but at the same time, it's still Stephen Curry. So as much as we might say they may have some trouble defensively in the backcourt, I can assure you, Stephen is
It's
going to cause hell to
of
whoever it
course,
is that
of
is
course,
going to be
but
guarding him.
you don't want a situation where before like Clay and all those guys came back, where you're in a situation where Steph gets tired because he's like carrying the load throughout the regular season, which we already talking about the bench, the issue with the bench. Like if their bench is providing nothing and you're relying on your starting five, and then now you're expecting like Steph Curry got to do all the things that he has to do, and then he has to play defense as well because Clay's not able to guard the best guard anymore. Jordan Poole can't guard. And now you just got Draymond and Andrew Wiggins like, what the hell, looking at each other just with their hands up. And then Wiseman is not a viable option. So it's just like it can get scary real quick. But we'll see though.
Yeah, I'm about to say I don't want to hear it. I'm here to hope. I mean, you're right. You're absolutely right. But at the same time, there have been players in the past who have had a, extremely high expectations, and hey, that just comes with the territory. So hey, Steph, if you gotta put up an
That
extra
ain't
4 or
Steph's
5 a
fault. That ain't
game,
Steph's fault.
well, oh yeah, of course, I'm not blaming him because
Yeah.
again, they're not. They haven't gotten like swept in the first round or
Yeah,
some
yeah,
shit like
yeah,
that.
yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? But I'm just saying if that's what
Steph is
has to
here.
happen for the right, that's what I'm saying. If that's what has to happen for them to win a championship, hey man, sorry, bro, I really am, but get it
That
done,
ain't
play up. It's just,
that ain't happening. He's
I
not.
don't know. I don't know what to tell you, kid.
Yeah.
You still got to score though.
Yeah, I mean, it's conversations need to get had because, like we were talking about, I think we were talking about earlier in the off season about Klay Thompson and Draymond Green, like us
Too
feel like
soon.
what's
Slow
what's
down. I see where this is headed. I see where this is headed. Slow down. They just won a championship. They're still the reigning champs. That's
that's
all.
fine, and this like
That's all.
this is probably their last season together. It's probably their last season together, and right now, you know, Draymond
Man.
after all that shit that happened off season, Draymond is looking like, well, I'm here, like I'm still.
Have we ever
My
have we ever
impact.
seen a legitimate farewell tour of a big three before?
No, not really. I mean, Golden State Warriors should be embracing themselves. This is it probably because I don't see like Klay Thompson is a phenomenal player. If he can still get you 20 points per game, that's great. But if he can't get you 20 points per game on a consistent basis and he's not defending at a high level, how do you say you're gonna re-up him? Because essentially what he's gonna become in the latter end of his career is essentially just a 3-point shooter. When we talk about 3-point shooters, we talk about guys like Kyle Culver. We talk about guys like
All right.
Duncan Robinson. We talk about
All
guys
right.
like Matt Struz. We talk about guys like Joe Harris. Like nobody's gonna. And I say that because like you look at like Duncan Robinson, he got a 4-year, $90 million contract. He can't guard a lick. That's why he ain't playing in Miami. Joe Harris, I don't know what happened to Joe Harris. I don't even know if he can shoot the basketball anymore. But he had that phenomenal season. He could shoot, he was shooting very high. And now it's just like he's not even playing that much with the Brooklyn Nets. So that's what I'm saying. Like nobody's going to pay that. The Golden State Warriors ain't like some of these other organizations where they're just going to be like, oh, one great year, let's give you a bag. And not saying Miami is a bad organization, but like they should have waited a little bit before like let's see. Like we always talk about, let's see if this is consistent. Like we always talk about like guys having a great 1 year. Like, all right, like Julius Randle. I try to tell Knicks fans. Like he had an all NBA season. They was talking about Julius Randle, top 25 player. I was like, pump the brakes. Like, let's slow down. But hey,
Oh man, Knicks
it is what it
fans,
is.
man. I tell you, man.
It is what
Shout out to Julius
hope,
though.
hope the Bay Boys get right.
Yeah, we gonna see. There's still a lot of basketball left to be played. Um, over the course of the season, and I
Yeah.
think they can. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt because of the fact that they are 4-time champs. But yeah, I'm not gonna say things got to change, but
Them young players not ready
yeah,
either, Theus. Like
I
everybody
don't
was
know
talking
about
about
that.
Kaminga, Moody, Wiseman, this year 3. Like, they not ready.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
not
I don't.
ready.
I don't even think it's just a they're not ready thing. I think it's more of like they have some pretty big shoes to fill. Like they're not replacing like a team that has won 20 games last year. They're in an environment where they are used to winning championships. So even if you feel like, all right, their time is now, or that they got to,
Mhm.
their learning curve is different. They're on a team that is used to winning championships. Like that's not normal.
Yeah.
Let alone making the playoffs. So I do think it's going to take some time, at least for those guys. But I mean, they
A
still
lot
have
of
their
people,
core. They still have their core.
a lot of people got caught up in like Jordan Poole and his development, and we were talking about like, yo, this is the first time ever we've seen a team that were able to develop their young players and win a championship, maintain with their core, which is true. But that only young player that really was developing was Jordan Poole, and that was like more so like self will of his own, like his doing. Like his getting in the gym, his like putting the work in, his like doing all that, like to become a better basketball player. If you look over the course of the past few seasons, that was more so Jordan Poole. Now I'm looking at the Golden State Warriors, where it's just like we're talking about development. Like you're supposed to be developing Kuminga, you're supposed to be developing Wiseman. Like Wiseman ain't played. He's had plenty of time to develop, even though he's been hurt. It's just like Kuminga, what's really going on if these guys can't provide you nothing in the regular season? Some people will say, well, they're young players. They need to be on a team where they can get more minutes. That's what you always talk about. It's just like, well, which one
I
would you rather
mean,
prefer? Would you rather be a rookie to get minutes you can develop your game, or would you rather be a rookie that get drafted on a championship caliber team and win a championship? It's hard.
I'd rather championship. Personally, I'd rather championship. Um, eh.
I think it's easy. It's easier for
No,
guys.
yeah.
It's easy
Actually,
for
no.
guys. It's easy for guys that are like, well, I feel like you're like a Kyle Kuzma, or like you spent 3 or 4 years in college, or like a Norris Cole who spent 4 years in college. That's more easier for those guys to come in and adjust because they kind of already like, this is who they're going to be. But where you're a Kuminga, where you're a Moody, where you're a Wiseman, and you're scratching for 10 minutes a game, 15 minutes some nights, maybe 25 minutes one night, maybe another 8 minutes. You can't develop that consistency. You can't really work on your game because it's just kind of like you said, we got championship aspirations. And what happens if you're not playing, the best experience is experience in the NBA. If you're not playing, these guys don't practice like in the NBA. They don't practice. Like they're not practicing. So it's just like, how do you get better? It's tough.
Hey, getting in the damn gym.
Tough. Should have drafted LaMelo Ball, but it is what it is.
But now, hey, everyone learns from their mistakes. But yeah, we're gonna see you on the next episode. You already know what it is. Peace.